For the most part, I think they're a unique team in terms of how they space the floor and, some of the shots that they'll take. And so you have to really be ready. And I thought we guarded well in stretches. And, they even defensively, they force you to make some plays off the bounce. They sort of channel you to the hoop and overload it. And, again, it was solid basketball. We had our moments where we had some lapses. You look at the turnovers, you can pick out some things. But overall, it was, we played well enough and got a nice lift. And Kyle was shooting the cover off the ball. That was really sweet to see.
Tony, probably one of the hardest stretches of ACC play to start a season this season with 3 games against top 10 opponents. Where do you see your team at right now after the non-conference schedule's done?
I told them, we always break up our season into different phases, and they went undefeated in phase 1, and that's no small thing. We wanted to try to win every game, but they did that. Now we go into phase 2 conference play, and we understand how good the league is, and I didn't even know it was that many against top 10 teams, but we'll have to continue to improve. But we got a good look at our guys, and I think Florida State is next, an athletic team that'll spread you out, and we'll enjoy the New Year's and then get ready to go against high-level athletic ACC competition, which is going to, again, test you and find out where you're at. But I liked what I saw today, and we'll enjoy New Year's.
You talk about Kyle's rebounding, 7 defensive rebounds, a career high 8 rebounds.
Yeah, I think in games like this, when the floor is so spread, the way Marshall spreads out all 5 guys, it's long shots, long rebounds. I don't know how many threes they took. They took 22. The guards can kind of come back and scrape some rebounds. And, Kyle he's a deceptively good rebounder. He'll sneak in there and get some offensive rebounds too. But when the floor is this spread, I usually like those numbers. I think that was last game too against William and Mary. He had 7, and our guards rebounded at a high level. That'll be important.
Tony, you again went to the bench early in the first half. Is Jay earning that extra time, or are you just trying to kind of inspire him to earn that extra time by putting him out there?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he presents some challenges for the other team with his ability to stretch it. I don't think he hit a 3 today in his length, and I think that's valuable experience for him. So he, as I've said all along, he shows flashes. He's got to continue to become more consistent, and sometimes that's the best way to be out there in those situations. But he's done some good things in practice, and this was a game where he got more extended minutes. And, I think, as I said, we've got our 7-man rotation. We're looking at establishing, is there an 8th or 8-9? And that's where Jay and Marco and Cody are all valuable minutes when they're on the floor. But Jay has done some good things, and I think that was good experience for him today.
John Elmore is an explosive player, averaged 20 points coming in. He had 14, all but 2 in the first half, the rest of the second half. He really had to work for his shots, 3 for 17 from the field. Was there anything specific that you liked that the defense was doing on him, and how have you been impressed with the defense with where you're going?
Yeah, I think DeAndre's length, we tried to really challenge DeAndre initially, and different guys make him earn. And DeAndre, we say collectively as a team we stop the ball, but it's the individual's responsibility to get to shooters quickly. And I thought DeAndre was locked in and tried to keep him in front and use his length to bother him. And then when other guys were on him, we just tried to be aware of him. And I'm sure he missed some open shots, but they were mostly contested in that stretch. And I liked what I saw from our guys that were on him on ball defensively, especially DeAndre.
Coach, it seems sort of cosmic that you got your 300th win while scoring 100 points. I'm sure that's exactly the way you drew it up.
Yep. Every 300 games, I let our guys score 100, so that's it. Yeah.
Is this a milestone for you? I mean, does it even blip the radar, the 300? Not the 100. No, I'm not dumb enough to ask that, but the 300.
I'm thankful. I forgot all about it. You guys brought it up a couple weeks ago, and then Dave Kane in the pregame mentioned that at the end and reminded me of that. And it just means you've had really good players. As I said, it means I've been coaching for a while. I've had a great staff. And my whole hope is that in my 300 wins that I've honored and respected the game, the people who've poured into my life and what I value as important. And then in the many games that I've lost, I've done the same. And that's all I can ask for. So I'm very grateful to have given this opportunity. Thankful to, a lot of people where I got my start, and I'll say this and then move on. what my father did for me. He came out of retirement, went to Washington State, bottom of the barrel in the Pac-10. Basically took all the bullets. I'm the associate head coach for 3 years and established a program and said, son, here you go. I don't know if you can be successful, but at least it's at a spot where you have a chance. So he took a great career, Final Four coming off that, did that for me, took the losses, and then I took over, and then we won, went to the tournament, won whatever game. So not many, I don't even know how many dads would do that for a son to get me started. So I always go back to that, and I think, wow, he was willing to kind of, at the end of his career, take that on for me, and then I was ready to go. And then when I came here, he said, you're on your own. He said, you got to figure that one out yourself. But unbelievable. That's where I got started. So, of course, much respect and much goes to him, but always the players, always the coaches, and 300 wins, that's great. So I'm thankful for it.
Coach Mark Martin, WCHS TV up in Charleston, West Virginia. Coach D'Antoni, the son of a coach, as
Yep.
well. Can you just talk about maybe his program? And I know a tough day for them, but just maybe what you saw
Yeah,
overall.
I actually, my father and myself and Mike and Dan D'Antoni got to go golfing together when we were at the Greenbrier. Had an unbelievable time, and then they took us, this was a few years ago, took us to his house to visit with his father, and that's one of the great memories I have. Obviously, I have the utmost respect for that whole family. The year they had last year, unfortunately, they had a bad injury. Even right before this game, they lost one of their interior players, and I know how much his alma mater means to him, and I love that. And he's done a great job there. Today, they're off, and they caught us on a hot day. But like I said, much respect for that family, what they've done for the game, and I know how much he cares about Marshall. And when people care about where they're coaching, it shows. I care greatly about this place, as my staff does, and he loves Marshall, and that's pretty cool.
Mamadi was very active, especially early. What is he doing? What has he done these past few games that maybe he wasn't doing early in the season?
More continuous. He isn't just making a hard effort and then kind of wandering around. He's staying continuous, and he's finding, I think he's simplified in terms of just being as good as he can defensively and on the glass, and then taking what the game presents offensively. If we throw it in the post, try to make a move. If it's an open shot, take that. So I think, and who knows what goes through a young man's mind, but I think he's simplified and just playing as hard as he can, as continuous as he can. And again, his athleticism and length will be important as we head into conference play, and obviously the size and length of the players.
For a couple more, Josh. Tony, there have obviously been a lot of fun moments for the fans during this non-conference slate, and a big part of that was Grant Kersey.
Yeah.
Did it feel sort of fitting that he was able to hit that?
Well, I think he's uncoachable. I mean, I'm holding up my hand saying hold the ball, so we're going to have him run some extra wind sprints or something. I mean, come on. No, they were pressing, and I kind of rolled out there. But as I said, Grant to me represents like all those guys that have been managers in our program, and the practice players. And that's kind of cool that he's just, there's excitement with him and what he's done. So I couldn't be happier because he comes from a great family. He's a fine young man, and like I said, I literally was like, hey, hold it up, and the ball rolled, and he threw one in, and I'm sure the guys told me he gets quite a following. I don't follow it, as you guys know, but I hear you. So that'll probably boost his, what is it? Not his Twitter, his Instagram? More, okay, it'll boost his Instagram followers, not his text followers. So.
Was there some hidden value in the first 5-10 minutes of that second half for your starters? Because they were pressing you, they were all up in the shirt. Considering Florida State's your next opponent, that's very much a pressure team.
Yeah, no doubt. In some ways how Marshall spaces the floor, Florida State will offensively space the floor with some probably bigger, longer athletes, and then defensively, I remember when we went there last year. I mean, they had us, and we had a great comeback. Remember a drive Isaiah Wilkins made? It's a great play, but how they pressured us, how they forced you to. At times you have to make some plays off the dribble with space, and Marshall, they got into us, and I challenged Ty and Kihei. I have a high standard for them. I said, you guys, and sometimes we weren't getting open, but they had probably an unusually higher number of turnovers than usual. And again, I think we're going to see some of that pressure from a lot of teams in our league, and you have to handle that. So I think it was good to go against the offensive spacing and then the defensive pressure that Marshall applied to help prepare us for what's coming up.
Okay, last one.
Tony, we've heard you talk about a lot of shooters here, about squaring up and technique and all that stuff. And rumor has it you were a pretty good shooter when you played. You never talk about technique with Kyle. Is he just the kind of guy that you just leave alone because he does so well?
No, I think he has good technique, but I think he has something that Joe Harris had and Klay Thompson. I'm trying to think of guys who have coached. There's some others. Derek Lowe had it. Guys where he can also, if he's not squared up, he can kind of shift in the air and turn and then knock it in. But we work hard, and he works hard. I mean, he has beautiful form. I think it's great how it's textbook, how it comes off. We work hard on how quick he can get his feet set and how quick he can shoot it, trying to be square, but he has that innate ability when he's not square where he can turn and, boom, get it off. And I think that's a separator. But technique-wise, I think he's sound. And we get on him about follow-through and footwork, and I don't let him skimp on those areas. But, of course, you have to say he's a shooter. Shoot. And that's what he does.